Welcome to the Common Ground Show, where we find common ground between controversial and fun topics. I am your host, SG, joining by WT. A little background on me. I believe that I'm a liberal. I have very liberal views on very different topics. And my co host here, well, what do you think you are?
I would say I'm a libertarian. I believe in maximum personal responsibility and minimum government.
Okay, so that's pretty much like being a liberal, kind of like what I believe, but I think you lean more towards one side than the other. Where I try to be a little bit more neutral, but also try to lean more towards the freedom fighters, if you could say.
Well, I'm going to say I'm physically conservative. I'm pretty socially liberal. But like
Mhm.
I said, I just like personal responsibility. And so, no matter views what you might have, as long as you take responsibility for those views and don't blame other people, then I'm perfectly fine with it.
And I do agree with that. And I think one of the main things that are happening right now is this whole thing with Epstein. I mean, it is all over the news. It is all over Twitter. It's all over Instagram. I mean, that is everything that people are talking about. And I mean, just a little background on what is happening. As you guys know, Epstein was accused, well, not just accused, but proven that he was sex trafficking, underage kids on his private island, right? And you have all these A-list celebrities, royalty, businessmen that are involved with it. So, what is your take on this?
All right, this is my take on it. Number one, the best part of all this, the only person in prison is a woman. Lee
That is
Maxwell.
true.
And that's what is the most ridiculous part is that they won't release the names. Now, this is going to be the next JFK,
Right.
kicking it down the road. They're not going to release the names because it's going to hurt too many people. So each administration is going to kick the can down the road for as long as they can.
Right. And I mean, at the end of the day, if they were to release the files and you see that is all these presidents, all these tech giants, all these influential people of what was this, the 80s?
Yeah, basically since the late '80s, I believe.
Okay. So do we want the truth as a society? I believe we do. But are we willing to cripple the economy? Are we willing to triple basically everything that is happening for the truth?
We want the truth, but people don't want the consequences of the truth.
But you can't have one without the other.
Exactly. And that's why I believe it's the new JFK. Because people want to know about JFK, but if they knew the truth, then they'd have to accept what actually happened. And I don't think people can handle that.
I think you're right. I don't think people can handle the truth of what is happening. And because of everything that is happening in the world right now, this is the new hot topic, right? I mean, as we know, the president right now is directly involved with everything, right? So I think in from what I've seen is that with this whole Obama thing that is coming up, he's trying to shift the focus on the American people and the world on this versus what is happening. But his own party as well is getting pissed at him because they're not releasing it.
Right. And this goes back, he should release it. But then again, Biden had all the information too and didn't release it. This is going to be, they're just going to keep pushing it out, keep pushing it out, keep pushing it out. Because, for example, what if you run a multi-billion-dollar company and you discovered you were going to be on Epstein Island?
Mm.
And that multi-billion-dollar company lost 50% of its employees in one day.
Right. So you're not just affecting yourself, but you're actually affecting your employees, everything that you have accomplished. And right, right. I get that. I get that. But is it immoral not to release it for the greater good of the economy and the world?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I think that they should release it for the greater good of people's feelings.
Right.
For the greater good of life, I can understand why they wouldn't.
And I mean, there are so many pictures, like going around with people they were partying and whatnot. I mean, I think we've all seen it.
This is how I look at it is that I don't think everybody that's been to Epstein's Island was having sex with underage girls.
Right.
Just like I don't think everybody that went to Diddy's parties were having freak offs.
Right,
You know,
right,
there are business events that you don't play. Remember, he was working money, millions of dollars with
right.
different people. So just because you're in his address book doesn't mean you were a pedophile.
So, do you believe guilty by association?
If that's the case, everybody in Hollywood should be charged by going to a Diddy party.
True.
So we can't have guilt by association. That's another thing I think is going to prevent them from releasing the files, is because that's going to open up so many lawsuits of defamation
Oh,
that
absolutely.
could cost the government billions, multiple governments billions.
No, I mean, I think you're right on that. So, I believe that this is gonna be dragged out as long as possible, all the way until next presidency, if not the one after. Like you were saying before, this is gonna become the new JFK. And for how long we've been asking for those documents? I mean, how long has it really been?
Man, we're so far away. Remember, in the past 10 years, it's become on JFK. We just want to wait till everybody dies. We
Right.
just want to, all right, everybody's dead now. They still hadn't released it. They're going to start that excuse. We want to wait till all the victims die. We want to wait till everybody associated dies, which is going to kick the can down the road. 40 years?
Yeah, so I mean, if this is just the beginning, then this is gonna push it way, way, way far into it. So, what is the name of the lawyer, the lady who's actually in jail out of
Oh,
everybody?
Ghislaine Maxwell. She was the supposed the fixer. She was the one that set up the girls.
Like the personal assistant slash lawyer slash everything,
Yeah,
right?
and it appears from 91 to about 99, her and Epstein were boyfriend and girlfriend.
Oh, were they actually dating? I
Yeah,
didn't know
and
that.
then she got a new partner. His name was Ted something, I think around 2000, and they were together for many, many years.
Really? Okay. I think it's ironic that she ended up in jail. That she's the only one out of the whole thing paying. I mean, what's her sentence? She got life or something?
No, I'm not quite how long the sentence is, and let me tell you, it's going to depend on what information she's willing to get. Are people going to be happy if, say, the government or the president decides to pardon her for her to spill all the beans?
So you really think that the president would forgive her, pardon her, for her to rat out everybody? Because in reality, she knows everything that Epstein did, right? I mean, they were together, they were dating, they knew each other. And I mean, once you have a romantic relationship with somebody like that and you are involved in it, I think they know everything about each other, correct? So, do you really think that she would rat out to get out of prison?
If they let her, but I don't think they're interested in it.
You think that boat already sailed? Do you
I
think
do.
that's past due?
Because here's the thing, if they pardoned her, she wouldn't have the ability to plead the fifth.
That is
Because
true.
yeah, you have no longer have the ability to plead the fifth once you're pardoned, which means she would have to answer every question if she went before Congress. Now think about the damage that's going to do in the world of business, the world of politics.
It is just mind-boggling the amount of people that and like you said, just because you had a relationship or you knew Epstein, right? Doesn't mean that you participated in any of those things. But the way that politics work now, I feel that they are guilty by association. But it depends on how powerful you really are. That a lot of these people feel that they're untouchable.
And also Betty Ghislaine, she was sentenced to 240 months. Now, 240 months. So you're looking on state charges, you're required to serve about 50% of the time before your eligibility parole. Federal charges, I believe, is 70 to 80% for parole. 240 months. Quick math was roughly 20 years,
Yeah,
I believe. Okay. So is it worth her to keep her mouth shut for 10 years in prison? Or to roll on everybody? Because remember, the minute she rolls on everybody, she gets out of prison, she's broke, she's done, she has nobody in her corner. However, if she doesn't roll, the minute she gets out of prison, the rest of her life is taken care of.
You're right, because of the powerful people, they are actually involved. And like I said, I truly, truly believe that there are some people that are so powerful and so untouchable. They've into it. I mean, I can't say for sure that they took part on the festivities, let's just call it that, but they will take care of her because if she didn't rat them out, they owe her big time.
Oh yeah, it's like the mob. Somebody spends 20 years in the
Mm-hmm.
mob, you come out, they're going to make sure you're a made man and you're
Exactly.
taking care of the rest of your life.
And there's no difference between a mob and this because they're both looked down upon. And I mean, well, this is a little bit more serious than the mob because it's making massive headlines everywhere, right? I mean, that's the talk.
But actually, the similarity I see is just because you're from a mob family doesn't mean you're a mobster.
That
Just
is true.
because you went to a meeting on Epstein Island doesn't make you a pedophile.
Right. And just because you went to visit Didi doesn't
That
mean
make you
right.
part of his parties, his
Right.
freak offs.
So let me ask you something, and this is kind of interesting. So let's say that you are a DJ, right? And you went to a Didi party, to a freak on, and you're just a DJ. Are you involved in it?
No, but you better believe I'm going to be blackmailing that son of a bitch.
I would too. I would too. I would absolutely too.
I mean, like, you pay me 20K for this? Nah, it's going to be 200K.
No, it's gonna be 200K. Absolutely. Wow, that is. And again, every morning that I watch the news, every single morning, it is an update with the Epstein files. It is, you know what? Another thing. What is the name of the lady that says, yeah, we're going to release them as we speak? They are on my desk ready for review. And now they are saying that, oh, no, it wasn't the list. It was just an overall thing.
Yep. So from what I've understood of that is Pam Bondi, the
Okay,
AG.
yeah, yep.
From what I've understood about that is that they were doing a tour, and she gave those folders to the people, the podcasters, I believe, that were on the tour, the journalists. Now, and then she did an interview, and I think it was a slip because they were talking about different files of different things.
You know,
They were actually talking about the JFK files, and then they asked about the Epstein list, and she said it's sitting on my desk. What I believe is that her mindset was in the files, and then when he said list, she just automatically said yes because his file was on her desk. I personally think it was a slip up. Now, that doesn't excuse what's been released.
right.
I just think in that particular interview, it was a bit of a slip up.
They also said that there was an interview, or I don't remember what it was, but a bunch of people came out with like big binders full of like the files or whatever. I've seen online that those are public files that have been released and they just printed them to make it look like it's the whole enchilada.
That is correct. And what she told them on that tour, because they had been to different parts of the White House, is that she was giving them the binders of all the information they already knew.
But it was public.
However, no, you're right. All the information they already knew. However, what happened was it got turned into something to where it's new information. Now, the reason I think it got turned into that was for people's views on social media,
Right.
news outlets' ratings.
Oh, absolutely.
I think it got turned into that, but it was just stuff they already knew. However, individuals made it sound like it might be a little more for their own personal gain.
No, absolutely. I think I think you're right on that. It's just not sitting well with me or most of the American people are not happy with him. I'm sorry, but most of the American people are not happy with Trump. They're not happy with the way they are handling this. I mean, you tease the American people, it's gonna be released, names are gonna be, spoken, this, and that, and at the end, oh, nope, there's nothing. I mean, I'm sorry, but to me, that's a big old fuck you to the American people.
It is a fuck you, and
It is.
just like Biden was a big fuck you to the American people. Just like the next president, there's going to be a fuck you to the American people when it comes to all the information. I mean, we went through so many presidents since JFK that were fuck you to the people.
True. It's just not sitting well with me.
And it's not going to sit good with anybody. And the next president, whether Democrat, Republican, God willing, a libertarian, they're not going to release it.
Or Elon Musk's new party.
Well, Elon Musk's new party, of course,
What is it even called?
I believe it's the Freedom Party.
The Freedom Party.
Yeah, and,
Okay.
Of course, he couldn't be president, but he could finance the party.
Oh, he can afford it.
Yeah, of course he can. Now, this is the issue. I think on the outside looking in, everybody wants to release the files.
Right.
I mean, definitely.
Well,
Bongino,
not everybody. Not everybody.
No,
Not the people on it.
Bongino was all about this. Okay, Pam Bondi was all about this. However, I think once you get behind the scenes and see what's in those files,
Once
you
it becomes
start,
a reality.
yeah, you start going, whoa, whoa, whoa.
What
like,
is this gonna do to
what is this gonna
X,
do?
Y, and Z? Right.
Right, because we can only imagine what's in there. And I have a feeling a lot of people would change their minds if they got to see behind the scenes what the implications would be.
Yeah, but are those people who would change their mind are rich people, are the powerful people that have, some sort of saying in the world of politics and money and trade.
Well,
The average Joe doesn't care about that. The average Joe only wants the files to be released so they know who was there and who wasn't.
and you know what? You're right. The average Joe doesn't think it'll affect him.
Right.
All right. But like I said before, what if it's the head of a company and the company loses half of his employees in one day?
Right, like
Now,
like a
Joe-
big company like Ford or GM or something that
Or
really
Bank
right.
of America. All right. Then Joe, who wanted it released, no longer has a job to feed his family. So you think you want something released until there's a consequence of releasing it. And this just isn't American people. This isn't a thing that affects the US. This could go into England. This could go into 20 countries where it's
Right.
happening the same thing.
What's his name? Was it the king or the prince? Where was it who his name came up?
Oh, Prince Andrew.
Right. I mean, we know the damage that he made, right?
No. And there was that picture of when she was 17 and they took a picture.
Who was?
What was her name? Let me see here. She just recently killed herself.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she committed Virginia Giuffre.
Oh, okay.
She
Okay.
recently committed suicide. Now, they took a picture. He had his arm around her, and I believe Ghislaine was in the background. He ended up paying her about, it was either $11 million or 11 million pounds.
Okay.
However, that's basically what got him kicked out
Wait,
of.
was that hush hush money?
Yeah, it was
I
hush
mean,
hush.
you can't really call it anything else. That's
However,
hush hush money.
Yeah, but I have issues with because it's an NDA. But yet,
Mm.
when somebody breaks an NDA, there's never any consequences for the person that broke it.
Well, there should be, shouldn't there?
Well, then why was Prince Andrew ostracized once she broke
Right.
the NDA? That's the point of a non-disclosure agreement.
Right. I mean,
Right?
it's in the name.
But
right.
yet, so she breaks the NDA, he loses his role in the royal family, and then she gets all the perks of being a victim, which she was.
Right.
But if that's the case, she never should have taken the money.
Yeah, I think that's a very thin line between taking the money, like the hush hush money, and then playing the. I mean, obviously she was a victim, but
You can't take the money
yeah,
and then come out and say something. Because if you really had the moral line on this, you never would have taken the money. You would have said, I will go broke and live homeless to expose you. Not say, just give me $11 million.
that is true. That is true. I mean, it is very sad and unfortunate that that she died.
And of course, because of this, I'm sure she died probably because of years of mental issues
Oh,
due to this
absolutely.
sexual abuse. And I'm sure she was 41 when she died, and I'm sure she has been in turmoil
Right.
since her teenage years. And I
Oh,
feel
absolutely.
so bad for her. And also, maybe she thought if she took the money, maybe that would fix something in her.
Right.
Maybe she thought if I have that money, I can forget this ever happened. I can pay for therapy, and it just did.
But I think we both know and we can agree that money does not solve your mental problems. Money solves a lot of problems, but it does not solve trauma. It does not solve mental illness. It
No,
just doesn't.
It doesn't. But there's a lot of people that could say, I could. It's the old saying, if I'm going to cry, I'd rather cry in a Mercedes than I would in an old Volkswagen Beetle.
That is very true. I mean, I think I do agree with you on that. See, for me, with my beliefs and what I think they just need to release it. If the world is gonna burn, it's gotta burn a little bit, but they need to release it so people can have some closure. That's the biggest problem here, that there's no closure, and people need that. Like, anytime that you're in a bad relationship and you don't know why, you need that closure. And if you go on your whole life without closure, I mean,
if governments collapse and companies collapse and you can't eat, that's opening a wound. That's not closure.
I don't think it would go that far. I think this is a big scandal, but I don't think it would go to the point of breakage. I don't think it would go to the point of the apocalypse or like completely meltdown of the economy. I don't think it's gonna go that far. I think it's gonna affect things for sure, and we might see it, but I don't think it's gonna go into that extreme that most people are predicting.
All right, I do think. All right, if this came out and there are business leaders in this, the stock market's going to crash, which means people's 30, 40 years of retirement funds have crashed. Maybe jobs aren't lost, but their investment in stocks are going to crash because the stock market's going to crash. It is going to affect people. It doesn't matter jobs. It could just be in stocks.
So what do you think would be a solution for this? If we can release it because of the consequences, but people are not going to be happy until they have names or a list, I mean, what can we do?
This is what I think we can do. I think Ghislaine Maxwell should come out and she should testify to who she did business with, we'll say. I did business with this person, this person, this person. I can neither confirm nor deny that this person had anything to do with underage or nearly or barely legal girls.
But is that going to satisfy the public?
Nothing at this point. This is a rabbit hole.
It is.
It's a rabbit hole. At this point, nothing's going to satisfy, because you know what? Say they release a list of 50 names. 50 names. Oh, everybody's just going to say, okay, where's the next 50? They release 50 more. Where's the next 50? It's going into a rabbit hole. There is nothing to satisfy people at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it is difficult. I think the reason why I believe we chose this topic is because it is a rabbit hole. Right? I mean, there are so many theories. I mean, people can come up with random stuff and say, well, he did this, or that. So it's a I think this is a sticky situation. I think this is the definition of a sticky situation between the government, what they're willing to do and what they should do, and what's wrong and what's not. It's a sticky situation, man. And I don't think they're going to release the files. I think, like you said, it's going to go into several other presidencies. And I think people are going to forget about it at some point. Because you got to remember, this just came back to life. Before, what is it, a month ago? Nobody cared about it. Nobody was talking about it.
That's why they call it the drive-by media. All they care is one news cycle gets them ratings. And trust me, in a week or two, there's going to be a new news cycle, and the drive-by media will forget all about Epstein again for a few more years, and there'll be some new big story.
If Trump wasn't in the House, do you think that this would have come back to life?
At some point it would have. The issue isn't necessarily Trump on this. The issue is Trump's pundits on this.
Right.
Because he put people in power, secretaries, the FBI, right? To where people that had said they were going to release them before they got there. So therefore, if he hires these people that have made these promises, well, then people are going to expect they're going to keep these promises, and they haven't.
Yeah, Again, I think that I said it before. I'm gonna say it again. I think they just need to release it. Nothing but the truth, 100% the truth, so we can just move on with this. Or this is just gonna become another freaking theory that is just gonna drag for years and years to come. So
If truthful people were politicians, we'd have no politicians.
that, amen to that, brother. Amen to that. Wow. I mean, and you know what? Tonight when I watch the news, tomorrow when I wake up and watch the news, is gonna be something new about it. Either Fox or NBC, you name it, they all have something to say about it. Some people defend it, some people don't. But do you believe that bad publicity is still better than no publicity?
Absolutely. You know why? It's free publicity.
And we're talking about it.
Exactly.
It gets people
the thing
talking
is, though,
about
is
it.
that Kamala raised $1.5 billion. Trump probably got 100 bill, or not 100 billion, hundreds of millions of dollars of free publicity, even if it was bad publicity.
You know, that is true. So, for closing thoughts, what are your closing thoughts on this whole Epstein being the new JFK? What do you really think is going to happen?
My mind will be made up once they decide if Ghislaine is going to testify. If she doesn't testify before Congress, if there's no deal made,
Are
then
there talks about it right now?
yes, Pam Bondi sent her assistant AG to meet with Ghislaine, I think,
Really?
yesterday or the day before. But if nothing comes of this, nothing ever will.
So so what you're saying is that all the cards are being dealt by her.
Absolutely. If she does not testify, if there's not a deal cut, this is the end of it.
Do you think the American people are gonna make her, not make her, because nobody can make her testify, right? But they can put pressure on her to
No,
testify.
they can't put pressure on her. She's in prison serving her
she's-
sentence.
Right. I mean, she's in her cell right now taking a nap. Absolutely.
I mean, they can't put. The only difference for her, if she'd have got sentenced to 80 years in prison, it'd be different. If she's eligible for parole, about 10 years, 11 years, and she's already been in there a couple, she's got to decide what's more important.
True. I believe that this is just gonna, nothing is gonna happen. I think that we have another maybe 3 weeks of the whole Epstein with Trump. And then after that, something else is going to happen. People are going to forget about it. And that's going to be the end of it. From previous experience with media, that's what happens. I mean, look at everything that has been happening lately. People.
People only care about ratings.
Exactly. It's just the ratings now. So people think that this is gaining a lot of traction, and it is in a way, but people are kind of getting tired of it. The ones that are not really passionate about it, they're not really caring about it. For example, me, I got it out of my system now. And like I've told you, I think that they're going to stop talking about it. It's going to completely just be over with in about 3 weeks. And they're not going to bring it back again until another couple of years, if that.
No, this is going to, if it dies down, it'll be brought up during the midterms. After that,
Oh,
it'll
it
then be
definitely
brought
will.
up again during the next presidential election. But other than those two times, it'll go away.
It will. Well, let's see what everybody else thinks about it. I mean, we all have our own, even if you're a left or a right or liberal, whatever you are. I think part of it is what your moral compass tells you. Is it worth releasing the names and completely destroying some business and whatever the case might be? Or should we just forget about it like nothing happened? But that's not fair for the victims, right? So I think we're in a dilemma here, on a moral dilemma, but only the government can solve it. And we know that the government is not always truthful. So with that being said, I believe that they should release it, but they won't. But those are my thoughts. And that is my common ground between what WT thinks and what I believe. So, any closing arguments that you have?
No, we've just got to wait to see what happens with Ghislaine Maxwell. And until then, it's open-ended. And hey, guys, Thanks for joining us. Like and subscribe. See you next time.